Hey, everybody, welcome. Welcome to the show, company update, little live stream and chat hangout. And this is a continuation of yesterday's live stream. So if you want to go back and watch that afterwards, yesterday's live stream was the one called Jeffrey Epstein Files Time Machine or Hot Tub Time Machine or something, because he does in the emails talk about time travel. Now, I think that's totally not an important focus of the Epstein files. I think it's just incidental. He reached out to a lot of different scientists and academics about weird topics, including bioengineering. And in a couple of cases, it seems time travel or interdimensional travel. Now, there's no evidence that he was actually moving toward funding this stuff, just initial thoughts, right? Like, what are the impacts of time travel on the human body? It's a very ambitious, depraved individual with a lot of resources and apparently a lot of time. It seems like he was just sitting on this island, emailing the world's powerful back and forth all day. These casual, typo ridden emails that make the Podesta emails seem like Shakespeare by comparison. The Podesta WikiLeaks are Shakespeare compared to the absolute lazy trash, just lazy filth of the email style back and forth. Not so much code language, aside from references to pizza and grape soda. They're just using plain language. Hey, good torture video. Ha ha. The banality of evil, as other people have pointed out, right? The mundane nature of evil when you actually unmask it Scooby-Doo style. Now we know who these people are, what they're about. They're into weird stuff. They have too much time and money on their hands, and we should nationalize their assets. There need to be Epstein trials. If you're a tech CEO who went to the island just to harm American children, you need to nationalize your company and throw you the fucking prison ASAP. This is a 5-alarm fire for Western civilization. Absolute 5-alarm fire. And so what's actually happening, you can see it this way if you want. What's actually happening is some element of the federal government, some element in DC, people at the Justice Department, people at the FBI, they had the files, and Congress mandated, with the Epstein Transparency Act, mandated that it all be released to the public. More than a month-long delay where they don't meet the deadline. And then 3.5 million documents come out on Friday and over the weekend. 3.5 million documents. And so it makes this so different from the WikiLeaks of now a decade ago. Incredible. What makes this so different from the Podesta emails is this is not a highly contentious website that's uploading people's emails and we don't even know, is WikiLeaks telling us the truth? Who are they? How did they get these emails? They haven't told us, right? So that was the problem with the Podesta emails. Whereas these are documents from court cases and internal conversations between law enforcement, interagency communications between the FBI, the New York Police Department, and many other agencies. And we get to see some of their field notes, as well as, again, stuff that was covered up that were kind of accompanying past lawsuits, but that have been hidden. This stuff is now out there. So 3.5 million documents is obviously not a hoax. The president had said this was a hoax and that it would hurt his friends. It would hurt his friends if this came out. Well, who are your friends? What kind of friends are we talking about, right? Because one of the most disturbing things that's come out so far, it's alleged that George H.W. Bush, Bush Sr., the first Bush, that he raped a male victim. This is one of the witness reports. Raped a male victim, and the same victim was also subjected to a ritual sacrifice in which his feet were amputated with a scimitar, kind of ancient sword. So this guy first is allegedly raped by Bush Sr., and then has his feet cut up with some ritualistic scimitar. And then, I mean, just total Pizzagate stuff also, nearly 1,000 references to pizza. But what I was saying is here you've got these documents housed on the website run by the country's flagship law enforcement agency. The Department of Justice is the top level, law enforcement department of the federal government. And these documents have come out on there. Again, it's not WikiLeaks, it's not some screenshot on Twitter where you don't know the sourcing. You know the sourcing. It's from the United States federal government. This is some element of Uncle Sam trying to tell us what we need to know before it's entirely too late. This is like some deep space emergency beacon going off once before civilization is lost. Because this reveals pretty much everybody in Trump's cabinet is an Epsteinite. When you look through the emails, these people he picked, it's like, did he pick them because they all went to the island with few exceptions? They're all in the files. So you got this Epstein compromised administration, 100%, that just ran around Pizzagate for 10 years and didn't actually prosecute any of these people because he's 100% one of them, beyond a doubt. And again, he said it was a hoax, 3.5 million documents, the most heinous stuff I've ever seen. Doesn't qualify as a hoax to me, qualifies as a fucking cover-up. So documents came out showing a direct relationship between Jeffrey Epstein and the Rothschild family. He even says in one of the emails to somebody that he represents the Rothschilds. He doesn't just work with them. There's a document that shows a $25 million contract for services rendered, whatever those services are, between the Rothschild family and Jeffrey Epstein. So there's at least $25 million going back and forth in a single transaction, right? Single agreement. But he's saying in the emails to powerful people, I represent the Rothschilds, I can get this back to them. So that was a new thing because this is not coming out on InfoWars or on some discussion board. It's coming out again on the website of the US Department of Justice. And so you got some patriots out there. Actually, we can't even call them patriots, just people who are doing what the law, right? The law said you have to release these files, and they were just going to cover it all up and not give them to us. And out of the blue, some people loyal to process, the Department of Justice, on Friday and over the weekend, just drop all these files. And a lot of the stuff in there is just completely beyond the pale. Absolutely beyond the pale. And the reactions from people are all pretty much the same. We got Congresswoman Maxine Dexter, whoever that is. She says the Epstein files highlight the corrupting effect of enormous power and wealth. It frankly makes me sick and furious at the same time. It's long past time for transparency and accountability. Release every file immediately. No one can be allowed to be above the law. So that's not some commenter on InfoWars, that's a member of Congress. And I noticed this weird kind of pushback from a very small number of people that I think are either deranged or paid by the pedos to slow this down. And it goes something like, why do you care about this? Somebody earlier today on Twitter was saying, are you autistic, David? Are you autistic? Why do you only care about Jeffrey Epstein? Well, I haven't really talked about Epstein at all until a few days ago when the new files came out. My focus on this channel for the last year has certainly been AI and technology stuff. AI, technology stuff, and a little bit of UFO research. So to say, why are you obsessed with this one topic? Why are you trying to cover up a child rape ring? Why are you trying to diagnose somebody with adult autism when you don't know anything about me? And why do you not have a soul? Why is a part of your brain missing? Common empathy for other members of the same species. What is wrong with you? And do I have a high level of intelligence? Do I have a lot of pattern recognition capability? I do. That's why I knew 10 years ago this was real. There's just too much there. And that's why I know today this is a big deal for the Department of Justice to release all this stuff. And it ends the careers of so many people. And it wakes up the world to the fact that what I was talking about 10 years ago is how the world was run. I mean, this stuff, since we got people watching now, read some of the claims, some of the more disturbing claims. Here's this is the report that I mentioned in the last live stream. The report between somebody at the FBI and someone at the New York Police Department's Bureau of Child Exploitation and Human Trafficking Task Force. So here's the email. And again, these are internal communications that we would not be privy to unless this had come out when it did. We would not know this because we'd have no access to it, right? So people saying, oh, that's old news, Seaman. It literally just fucking came out. And people saying, you're autistic. Why do you care about elites killing American children? Are you serious? Why do I care about elites killing American children? Like, just listen to yourselves. Some of you soulless creeps, just listen to yourselves. But yeah, so here's the email. I'd like to add a few other points disclosed by the purported victim. While on this yacht, he witnessed African-American males having sex with white blonde females. This is like a presentation. So the elites like to have things presented to them. If you read more of the emails, you'll see this is a common theme. So while on this yacht, he witnessed African-American males having sex with white blonde females, all of whom were bleeding during intercourse. He was a victim of a type of ritualistic sacrifice in which his feet were cut with his intestines. He was also connections, not good. He was also raped by George Bush I. Victim disclosed he was escorted to the FBI building, and then it just goes on with some details. But yeah, everybody should be over there. What you do is you go on the website and you search for some celebrities. You wonder if so-and-so has been to the island. You search for their name. And just the mention of somebody in Jeffrey Epstein's emails, he got newspaper articles and stuff. Just somebody's name in his email box doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean guilt. What is suspicious is when an individual is actually emailing back and forth with Jeffrey Epstein. That's different, right? When you got somebody who's personally contacting a convicted child molester, asking for time to hang out, and conspiring to run the world. These emails are truly beyond the pale. Like, everybody should be over there. Again, this is not some discussion board. This is not 4chan. This is the Department of Justice website. This is a rare moment where your tax dollars are actually doing something, you know. And if we don't all figure this out, then it's lost. Then it's game over. It means 3 more years of being ruled by people who are Epstein child murderers. To listen to these people tell us they're going to make our economy strong when they kill kids. Yeah, they say stuff like, why do you care about this, David? Hey, why don't you have a soul? Why are you just some low-income creep in Virginia paid to cover this up? Why do you not have a soul? Why do you not care about your own country's well-being when the next generation is being abducted, worse than an alien abduction, being abducted, taken to a Caribbean island to be abused by elites? And in many cases, these kids never came back. So here's what somebody said on X, one of the tweets that went viral. I just saw this material from the Epstein files that was not redacted, and I feel physically sick now. They were literally murdering and eating children and babies. Again, these are documents not out there on some discussion board, documents on justice.gov/Epstein. And every single one of you can go there now, and you should, justice.gov/Epstein. In the search box, start searching for people that you suspect. Bill Gates, John Podesta. Do your research. You're a citizen, right? Do your citizen research. So they were literally murdering and eating children and babies. The evidence is here. If even a fraction of this is true, we are looking at evil on a scale most people don't want to believe is possible. Children, absolute innocence, destroyed while powerful people walked free. How much evidence is enough? How much horror do Americans have to see before they demand real accountability? These people have been protected for decades, and somehow we're supposed to accept that justice will magically appear now. It won't. Imagine if it were your child, your family, your life. This isn't politics anymore. This is humanity. And again, the people saying, why do you care about this? Are subhuman. They're not doing the baseline requirement for being a human being, which is when you see this, you either try to stop it, but you certainly don't get in the way of the people trying to stop it. You certainly don't do that for 10 years. Every single one of these people needs to be brought to justice. No exceptions. I mean, how is that anything but the right choice? How is there another option? How do you move on from this? Oh, we got other stuff to work on. Oh, really? You're so important. You got bigger stuff than preventing elites from raping and killing American children. What you got going on is so fucking important. But yeah, that's where we're at. All this stuff is out there now. And it came out he was interested in investing in Bitcoin companies. Epstein was emailing with Bitcoin companies way back when. So gold and silver, the developer is God, right? It's above scrutiny. With Bitcoin now, I don't know. Some shady people were involved with Bitcoin, no doubt. No, it's all bullshit isn't an option. That's the way for you to turn your brain off and be a horrible person. This is all Democrat hoax, but it's not. The files are like 2 decades of stuff. So Democrats invented a fucking time machine to plant these documents decades ago, and it brings down some prominent Democrats like Bill Clinton. Why would they do that? It doesn't make any sense. It's complete nonsense. It's complete subhuman behavior. Same with the people saying, oh, this is all tainted by Trump derangement syndrome. Right, but these are communications over decades by people in law enforcement and by lawyers and people in the court system. And this is being produced by the government itself. So is the government posting a bunch of made up generated stuff? Well, these are all sourced from real places. Even the tip line stuff, people actually left those tips, and now we're seeing them for the first time, right? So to say, isn't this all just possibly generative AI or made up? No, it's literally not, because it's from dated court documents and stuff that predate the sophistication of generative AI, right? So you got photos and videos that simply exist. The metadata shows they exist years before the most rudimentary AI video editing or video capability. So there it is. So they're going to try to confuse us, and they're going to throw a bunch of fake shit out there. But it is what it is. You got 3.5 million documents, and you can literally just go there, justice.gov/Epstein. You can just go there and start searching around. You don't have to play little games with me. Why do you believe this? What's the veracity of these documents? The veracity is United States Department of Justice. That's the veracity, is that's the publishing party, is the US Department of Justice. So again, this is like the emergency beacon going out. Is there fucking anything left of Western civilization and human decency? Because the woman who was covering for Epstein here in Florida, she's now the Attorney General covering for Epstein at the national level. And again, when you start searching in that little box for the members of Trump's cabinet, start with Howard Lutnick. Howard Lutnick is Trump's commerce secretary, very close to the president, always in his ear, advises him on policy. He claims that he cut off Epstein years ago, completely cut off contact after he was convicted. The emails show he's a complete fucking liar. Not only did he maintain contact, when he offered to go to the island, he lists the names of his children, just like they did in the Podesta emails. The same group of weirdos feels the need to give a convicted child molester the names and ages of his children before he plans a visit to the island. These are monsters. They shouldn't be running our fucking government. So you start with Howard Lutnick, you search for him. They're all in there, man. It's disgusting. Even Kevin Warsh, this Federal Reserve nominee that Trump picks, and because the guy's got a history of saying anti-crypto and anti-gold and silver stuff, all 3 assets tank on Friday. Just absolute theft, absolute digital theft of Trump's supporters and people who don't support him, just theft of Americans. So world historic 1-day drop of silver prices. It was artificial. They just wanted to claw people's money away. No real silver changed hands. something like a 28% one-day drop. That doesn't usually happen, folks. In major world commodities that have been trading for thousands of years, you don't usually see a 28% fucking one-day drop. Like it's a meme coin. That's manipulation. So gold, silver, and Bitcoin all fucking tank because Trump nominates this guy, Kevin Warsh. And does he pick him because he's a hard ass? Does he pick him because he's the tough medicine that our economy needs? No, he picks him because he's all over the Epstein files. He picks him because he's a guy who's already been approved by the Epstein gang. Now we know, as somebody in the comments is saying, now we know. And to do what people like Alex Jones are doing, muddying the waters. Isn't this just about Democrats? No, shut the fuck up, Alex Jones. You spent 20 years telling us this was how the world actually runs. 20 years. And now it actually comes out and you become some shameful lapdog trying to slow it down. Fuck that guy. I understand he had financial problems with them suing him for like $1 zillion, right? But then move on to something else, right? Then give up broadcasting for a while. The fact he needs to hang on to his tainted InfoWars brand and put out partisan cover-up garbage when he should be saying, hey, I'm the one who told you about this for 20 years, you know? This video will be saved automatically. You guys could definitely watch this later. It goes up in replay. But yeah, people who are saying, you know, they're just doing this no, they're just doing it because the American people demanded the files come out. Congress voted on it. It got the votes. By law, they have to cooperate with what our elected, Congress says. And we got the files. Now it's flawed. It's incomplete. There's more than enough there for all these people to go to prison. These people are fucking monsters. Just absolutely heinous. This is a DC Investor. You guys probably see him on Twitter. This guy, DC Investor, I think he's a big Ethereum policy guy. But this is his tweet on what's come out. There is literally no way to misinterpret these emails. They just think you are retarded, will believe anything unfailingly, and will never question them. They deflect by saying everyone should be arrested except themselves. Every single one of them. It's just comical. It's just comical. Then we got someone else on Twitter, big influencer, says newly released Epstein documents include numerous instances of the word pizza used in a coded manner, in addition to references pertaining to torture, dismemberment, and other heinous acts. And now we have the documents. Again, justice.gov/Epstein. You don't need to listen to Alex Jones rant about how this is some Democrat hoax or a scam to make Trump look bad. Hey, if you're covering for people who dismember and kill children, you are bad. You're not being made to look bad. If you're the president and you cover for child murderers, you're actually a bad fucking person. How hard is that to understand? I mean, it is alleged that George H.W. Bush raped a male victim. The same victim was also subjected to a ritual sacrifice in which his feet were amputated with a sword. This is testimony given to law enforcement, right? And these are Trump's friends. This will hurt my friends. So your friends are internationalist baby eaters? How is that MAGA? How does that make America great again? This will hurt my friends. Those are your friends? Incredible. Yeah, then we got these wannabe conservatives like Nick Fuentes and these other people. I didn't have a problem with them saying controversial stuff all the time. It didn't bother me at all. I found them kind of entertaining. But now that they're trying to make Epstein seem cool, like he was based, he was an alpha male, he went for what he wanted. No, fuck you. He was an internationalist, Israeli-controlled blackmailer of our elected politicians. This guy was a monster. And the photos that have come out of him with little kids in his lap, so it wasn't just 17-year-olds. These people saying, isn't it just, no, it was literally children. It was literally children and fucking babies. And so to say that's based, really murdering kids is based, fuck that. That's the best the conservatives can offer. I'm not voting for a long time. That's base, just this overnight gaslighting, astroturf psyop from all these right wing influencers. Actually, Epstein wasn't such a bad guy. No, fuck you. Yeah, already a politician in the UK has resigned over this. Yeah, already he was high up, right? He's already resigned. How do people have no shame here in this country? Where is the shame? When millions of us know that you fucking eat babies, you have the nerve to talk to us in any capacity whatsoever. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging with me for the last 10 years. Never thought this would be a story that would take that long to get true closure on, whether they prosecute these people or not. This is closure for me because, again, it's no longer on some discussion board, it's no longer a bunch of weird tweets. Justice.gov/Epstein. Our taxpayer money actually paid for something good. And if you think this is a Democrat hoax, you're a bigger clown than Ronald McDonald. I don't give a shit if you're a Democrat, Republican, Chinese, Jamaican, Canadian. This is the biggest story on the planet. So rather than diagnosing me with autism, make sure you have a fucking pulse. Make sure you're still a human being. This is the biggest story on the planet. We were run by baby eaters and technically still are.